Good morning, Andy here. Just finished at the gym. My arms are hurting and my shoulders are aching. I just thought I'd let you know that, just to not to garner any sympathy, but just so you know what I've been up to. So here we are, and today I want to talk about, should you train solo in the gym, or should you go to classes in the gym? So as you know, I've been around gyms for quite a few years. I've taught many different types of classes, right through from a pensioner stretch class, which was one of my favourites, believe it or not, to numerous boot camps, and to things like Insanity, which is a very hardcore cardio and plyometric based class. And I also do one-to-one PT sessions. So I think I know my way around the gym and the classes and what the benefits are of each of them. So I just wanted to talk you through them, because as runners, we're used to running in packs. I say running in packs, running in groups, or running solo. And the same can be applied to the gym. You know, do you want to run? Do you want to train solo? Do you want to train with your partner? Do you want to train in a small group? Or do you want to train in a class? Now, personally, I don't do classes. I've done many different types of classes in my life. But right now I train solo because my knowledge is there and I can do that. However, there are lots of benefits of going into classes. So a class like Body Pump will introduce you to the different types of movement you do with a barbell, and it can get you very, very, very fit. And you're working in a group, and you're working with others, so you build your sense of community, make friends. So if you're new to an area, an exercise class can be really great. I know Kirsten, when she first moved to Rickmansworth, she joined the gym, and 20 years later she's still got some of those friends she goes and has evening meals with and dinners with now, because she's got that sense of community built. So they can be really, really great. And you've also got other types of classes like yoga, Pilates classes. Again, a sense of community, absolutely brilliant, and I would highly recommend those if you are trying to actually build your sense of social up. Oh, what is going on up in that tree? I think there's a squirrel up there. Look at that. Anyway, I think we'll have a conker dropped on my head. Anyway, however, limitations are you are doing the exercises the instructor has programmed for you, and sometimes the instructor doesn't even have the ability to read the room, because if they're doing a body pump, Insanity, or some form of program of that kind, they have a session that's set every 8 to 12 weeks. So they will do the same class every week for 8 to 12 weeks before it changes, and they work on a cycle. So there is a bit of a negative there, and you may not get space in the class, and everything in between. So if you're training in the next level, which would be a small group PT, so you'd probably have up to maybe 4 to 6 people, and work 1 to 6 with a PT, which is quite good. They can spot your form, they can make sure what you're doing is correct, which you don't have in a class generally. In a class we cue and we would say something like, make sure your elbows are back, but they wouldn't be saying, Andy, make sure your elbows are back, because they don't single individuals out. So it does have a slightly higher level of care if you are in a small group class. And a lot of these small group classes, you get to know the PT personally, so he knows or she knows what your goals are. They'll know what you're trying to achieve, and they can then have an element of tailoring to the class and to your session, so you get the most out of the session as possible, which again is quite good. Now obviously any form of tailoring, the price goes up. So if you think an exercise class, if you're doing it via a gym, normally included with the membership. If you then go to small group, you'll pay slightly more because it's there's less people in the room and it's more tailored and you've got more expert advice. The next one up would be one-to-one PT. So one-to-one PT is where you are in a room or in a gym on the gym floor with one individual person. And that's very focused, very much tailored to you. However, you can also just go and train in the gym by yourself, which is what a lot of people do. They just go train by themselves. They have apps that they use, and those apps give them an element of a training plan. I think there are numerous apps. I know that Strava do one. I know that Garmin are introducing one. If they haven't done it already, they're doing it very, very soon. They'll be introducing a really interesting app coming through. But do they give you exactly what you want? Well, no. They're not one-to-ones. They're not tailored for you as much as they say they are, because they don't actually ask you any questions apart from how many days a week do you want to work out for, and what's your goal. So if your goal is to do a 5k and your goal is to work out 3 days a week, they'll just pre-populate it and use it based on your heart rate, which is very different to a very specific plan that an individual will give to you. So I would look at that and go, okay, dead easy to do. Is there the value there? Maybe for you, maybe not. It depends on your, it really depends on your knowledge and your background knowledge within the gym. I know a few of you have kettlebells at home that you throw about, and again, you're training solo, it's great. The issue you have with, if you are training solo, is having the discipline to go and train solo, because there's always other things we can do, and some people will go and train solo, some people don't. The way some people run solo, some people don't. There's also, in a class, you have an appointment and you've booked a space, so you're probably more likely to get to that class. But classes have a very different type of feeling to going and training solo. So really, in closing, it is more, and it has been quite a long video today, in closing it's more about finding in some ways what works for you. I mean, I haven't even mentioned the high rocks classes they do. It's just a different type of exercise class that's specifically tailored to an event, so it's just a little bit different, but still great value, still great fun, but just a little bit different. But anyway, we'll come back to high rocks another day, I think. And so from there, it's really choosing what works best for you. Some people do a mix. I know a lot of people like to train solo, and really everything in between. It's being a bit of a detective and working out what you prefer to do. So that's Andy on a walkie-talkie for nearly 10 minutes. I will catch up with you soon, but I'd love to hear what you think, whether you guys train solo, whether you guys train classes, and what your preference is, because it does interest me, and to know what you guys normally do, and because it's, from my perspective, I do look at results and I do look and say, okay, well, they're doing that, there's obviously something in that class that works well for them. I need to have a look at that and see what I can do, and see if I can help others in that way as well. So do chip in, do let me know, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Take it easy.